Welcome back to the vlog, everybody. Today we are back at vlogging, and it's been a journey to figure out how we're going to do this because we're not doing it the way that I've done it in the past. We're doing it together. We're doing it in prayer. What he's telling us to do pretty much in every area of our life right now is to tell story. And when we started asking about how we do this vlog together, how we do it at all, he said, tell stories. So we're going to start a new thing where every Friday we ask him what story we should tell. We ask him together. And we're just gonna try and force this thing to happen because when I first started vlogging, I had 3 kids, and this was like putting my identity in this. So I just made it happen. Now I feel like everything else is important, and this is like the last thing that I care about.
Except that we're supposed to do it.
Except the Lord's telling us to do it, right? This is legit. This is Jordan Marcotte. He's told us our calling as a family is to be storytellers that tell people stories that help them realize they're part in the story. Yeah, man. Hey, good to see you.
Very dirty kitchen.
Yeah, it's a bad.
It is quite dirty, actually. The happier our family is, the dirtier the kitchen.
Mom, is this the one that tastes like Jello?
Love ya. We're realizing that story is what changes people. It's what shapes culture. It's what helps us see from a different perspective than we know. If his thoughts are not our thoughts and his ways are not our ways, the way we learn about him is by seeing the story he invites us into, by living, by obeying his voice. But the way that actually transfers is by telling the stories of his faithfulness, the stories of who he is, how he works. And I'm realizing the way I'm going to change, the way my family's going to change, the way we're going to become who God's called us to be is through story. So telling stories on a weekly basis feels like the right approach. I mean, it's not that that's how we got there. We actually just asked the Lord, and he said, yeah, tell stories. That's what's going to bring change and transformation. So that's what we're going to start doing on Fridays at pizza night in our home. But it's also going to be what we're going to start doing on this vlog, on this channel. And the podcast that's coming is all about story too. So this is Peyton.
Hello.
Are you British?
No.
I'm gonna fix this course. I'm gonna change my shirt. Oh.
It's not the same.
Gotta look the same. You're on camera, Mary.
What are you doing?
This is like a VHS.
Well, literally didn't have and he's like, well, I want to.
You're good as nothing.
I'm like, oh, I guess.
Everyone come on in, it's fun to see. We've been praying, and one of the things that he told us was that we should tell stories. And we felt like he said to tell stories with community, with our family, and so this is our first iteration of that. So I don't know if it'll be any good, but we're waiting for it.
This is an experiment.
This is an experiment. I was one of 8 kids growing up. I was actually the second of 8. So I had a brother that was a year and a half older than me, and a sister that was a baby when I was a little kid. And my dad actually went to the war in Iraq. Desert Storm, Desert Shield in 1991. So I was like 3 years old, and my mom was taking care of all 3 of us. And I was, from what I was told, the easy kid. I was the kid that didn't cry that much. I was the kid that chilled on his own. And as I got older, more and more kids joined our family. When you have a lot of kids in your family, then there's only so much attention to go around. Do any of you kids know what it's like to want your mom or your dad's attention and not be able to get it? But as I got older, I struggled sometimes because I didn't know how to be seen or heard, and so I actually learned how to talk a lot. And if you've ever met me, you know that I still know how to talk a lot. But I used to talk even more as a kid than I do now. So how has that affected me as 36-year-old father? It's to the point in my life where I have realized that I put a lot of emphasis on things that are seen by other people and not as much emphasis on things that aren't seen by other people. And so when I go to work during the day, sometimes I struggle to work hard. Sometimes I struggle to actually do what I'm supposed to do because I feel like, well, it doesn't really matter because no one really sees it. And as I've been growing in the Lord, I also struggled, my kids can tell you this, with anger towards my kids. Benjamin, have I ever gotten angry? Once or twice or more?
Whenever Mel's in them, you just like run down.
Tortilla time.
Data. Tortilla time is another story. I'll be back next Friday. So I struggle with anger, and the main reason I struggle with anger, I got angry right before you guys came over tonight. And the reason I struggle with anger, Bella, what was the thing I got angry about? Avi was saying something repeatedly, and you weren't listening to him. And for whatever reason, I get really angry when someone isn't heard. When someone repeats something over and over again, I just like, oh my gosh, stop saying it and let's do something to make this stop. Because the idea of being repeated over and over again, for some reason, makes me really angry. And as I was talking to Jesus about how can I love my family better and how can I work harder at work, he showed me that what I need to do, and this is actually just in the last month, is I need to go on a walk in the morning and I need to ask him if he sees me. And as I've gone on a walk every morning, I've asked the Lord, do you see me? And I'm walking out, I'm looking at the sky and saying, God, do you see me? And he says, I see you. And then he starts to tell me things that he saw the last day. He tells me, I saw how you worked hard when you were distracted, or I saw how you were patient with your kids, or I saw how you weren't patient with your kids.
Or I saw you move Mary.
I saw you move Mary. But as I talk to him, he starts to tell me what he sees, and I'm starting to get his perspective. And amazingly, I actually feel more at peace when kids are crazy. I feel like I'm actually working harder. It's not because I feel like I'm really willpower to make it happen. It's because God sees me. First week done.
Hooray!
What did you think of the story?
Nothing, but it was good.